usually when you see the Virgin Mary or the Holy Family, you usually see them surrounded by cherubs or angels, little bitty angels that look like babies, Cupid almost, and they fly around and they drape them and they bring them the things they need. They bring them food or whichever. And if you look, all these little things that are floating in the background kind of look like butterflies or wings or that sort. Well, the reason why this particular piece got in so much trouble, just about any show it's ever been in, has been shut down. They're these little butterfly looking things, but if you really get down and look on it, they're not butterflies. They're images that are taken out of porn magazines. And then that mixed with the subject matter of the Holy Virgin and mixed with the use of elephant dung as part of the art materials that are used has caused this to be completely controversial. It's based on the same topic. It's the image itself is rooted in the same topic as that, but two totally different takes on the exact same subject. And then you have this one. This one I find quite funny. This is by North Carolina artist named Kate Kretz. And it is a modern day take on it. From just kind of an everyman, literally an everyman and woman point of view. Not from a African point of view, not from a early Christian point of view, but just everyday people point of view. From the people that shop at Walmart kind of point of view. And that'd be just about everybody. You may be one of those that refuses to shop at Walmart, and that's fine, that's your choice. But I'm pretty sure you've been in one sometime in your life. So this is similar. We have the woman dressed in blue, surrounded by little angels, little cherubs, okay, with the little baby boy in its swaddling clothes. And it's kind of evocative of the second coming. We have a bit of a halo, a glow about her, that sort of thing. And then if you look down at the lower half or the lower third of this image, you can see that this particular artist's take on this subject is that the second coming of sorts is going to be not from the east, not from the west, not from anything else, but it's going to be in your local neighborhood Walmart, with the pharmacy and the McDonald's and the men's and women's bathroom and the little bitty smiling happy face price cutter guy. And the second coming is going to be Angelina Jolie, not somebody else. So it kind of takes those ideas of pop art and plays it up and puts a religious spin on it, but it's all the same. It's all referencing that original idea that was kind of established way back when, before the Renaissance, early Christianity, as far as this particular artwork is going, where if you have the Holy Mother, then she is represented usually in blue. She has a bit of a glow about her, and you go from there. So when we talk about talent, quote unquote, a challenge that I want to present to you is throw it out the window. The next few images I'm going to show you is when you're looking at art, try not to just go for the low-hanging fruit and look at pieces and go, well, I don't like that, or I don't get it, or it's not pretty, therefore I'm not going to give it a time of day. Give the piece a chance. And also realize that just because a piece looks like that a second grader did it, doesn't mean that the artist doesn't have any quote-unquote talent. What it could be is that that artist was choosing to depict things in a certain way to evoke a specific feeling. Also, when looking at early artwork, realize that it may have been created by a number of people, not just a quote-unquote master. It could be the master with all their assistants, and some parts of it may not be as highly rendered as others. Case in point. This is a highly rendered piece by Albert Dürer, and this is one of the pieces that he presented to show himself as a fully prepared, ready to pursue and to be considered a quote-unquote master. This is in the, 1500. He put on his best. He did up his hair, made sure he was nice and clean, his hands were nice and clean, struck his best kind of Christ-like or pious pose, and then put a little note on it that says, I, Albert Dürer, present myself as an artist. It's highly rendered, it's highly representational. We would think that maybe he actually looked like this. But does that mean that this piece is any better than this piece? Just because something looks disheveled, just because something is abstract and not realistic, just because something is a big blue square with a yellow dot on it, doesn't make it any less of a piece if you take the time to understand where the artist is coming from. Representational work usually, not always, but usually can be chewed on and deciphered by just looking at it. Now, there may be symbolism going on and those sorts of things, but we get the idea. We can glean the idea from it. Very similar to the way when we talked about the symbolism, color symbolism behind the Virgin Mary, with her usually appearing in blue and Joseph usually appearing in orange, those sorts of things. We see this in Greek and Roman art, we see this in Gothic art, we see it in modern art, all sorts of things. But take this piece here. This is a piece of the Woman series by Willem de Kooning. If you see a woman like this, you probably need to call an ambulance because she's probably been hit by a bus. It's not about capturing the pretty side of things, the beautiful side of things. It's not depicting them in ugly manners, but it's about finding the emotion in it and the movement in it. And the more you look at it, the more you see figurative elements in it without it being just one particular human, one particular woman. It could be any woman, a variety of ways that a woman could be represented in a glimpse, walking by really quick and you just capture a bit of it. Those sorts of things. So don't just look at it and go, God, that dude didn't know how to draw. Therefore, it can't be good. Resist the urge, and we all do this. But try to resist the urge to walk into a gallery or look at a piece in the book or in wherever online with the mindset of, well, I know what I like, and I don't like that. Therefore, it can't be art. Yeah, you can't get away from it. Art is kind of in the eye of the beholder, but give the piece a chance to find out the explanation for it, to help you find the explanation for it, to explain itself to you. And you'll appreciate it that much more. You'll find that much more in it, I guarantee it. And just to hammer that point home, I give you this. This is Erased de Kooning by Robert Rauschenberg. This is Woman 4 by Willem de Kooning. Robert Rauschenberg went to Willem de Kooning in 1953, same year that one that we just saw was created, and said, I would like to make art from something that is already considered art. Willem de Kooning at that time had established quite a bit of a reputation, for himself. And he had quite a shows in all the prestigious galleries and that sort of thing. And Robert Rauschenberg said, I want to see if I can make art from something that is already considered to be art. So he went to de Kooning and he said, he explained his case. He was like, I want to take your piece and I want to erase it and see if there can be something that is considered art in it, whether it's the act or the final piece or whatever. Well, now just because a piece hangs in a museum doesn't mean anything. But this piece right here, Erased de Kooning, hangs in the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art. And somebody paid good money for it. Now you may look at it and be like, I no, that's ridiculous. That's an erased piece of paper. And there's a little bit of me that says no, it's no. But then again, the idea is good. The idea is solid. It's, can I make something that still has power to it, something that has a statement to it, by starting with something that already had power and a statement to it. It's kind of like if you hear a song and it has a really good riff to it, or a really good chorus to it, or a really good beat to it, and then you hear another song, and that second song, they stole the riff or the chorus or the beat or whichever, and you're like, I don't know if I like the second one better. They kind of stole the guy's idea, and they didn't really do much with it. They didn't change it enough, and it sounds just like the other guy's song, and it's similar to that. But sometimes that second song is that much, it's stronger. You like it better. You like there's a bit of a hook, there's a bit of a change, a bit of a tweak to it. And so allow yourself to look at things, and if you understand where the person's coming from, if you just approach this Rauschenberg piece, and you look at it and you're like, no, there's no way. How can that be art? Why is that here? It's an erased piece of paper. If you understand where this is coming from, what the idea was, where he was going with it, maybe you can appreciate it a little bit better. And then there's stuff like this. You really have to know the idea. You have to go with the tongue-in-cheek title, Mother and Child Divided. As art goes on and you get into postmodernism and contemporary art of nowadays, yeah, there's still people making representational pieces, very much like the Albert Dürer piece that we saw. There are people that are making things with the same kind of ideas of Andy Warhol, of the Renaissance masters, of Robert Rauschenberg, doing abstract female figures like de Kooning, the drip paintings of Pollock, the poured paintings of Helen Frankenthaler. But then there are ones that are kind of pushing and really pushing to how do we define art? And how is it different than other things? Yeah, you watch a baseball pitcher, you're like, wow, he's just an artist out there with what he does and how he does it. Or you see a woman, somebody that's cooking, doesn't have to be a woman cook. I'm not going for stereotypes. But you see a woman and they have a cooking show, and it's like, oh, she just makes it, it's like art. So where do we draw that line? So here, Damien Hirst is saying, can you accept this as art? This is two cows that are separated, literally. It makes, if you just think of the title and you think of a baby cow separated from its mom, and you can kind of hear it braying, and it's sad, and it's out in the field. Okay. But then you look at it and you notice that they're not just separated physically, they're actually separated down the middle of themselves. And then it's like, does this belong in an art museum? How does this qualify as art? Shouldn't this be in a science museum? It's a body, an organic body, floating in formaldehyde. Is that art? Well, that's for you to decide.